Hey everybody, I'm really excited for your hub today, and I'm gonna go really quickly. I loved the message from this weekend. It's one of my favorite topics. It was called Feel the Burn, and really Pastor Joel was talking about passion. I love the story of the road to Emmaus, where post-resurrection, Jesus meets up with some of his guys and is walking down a road, and because of his glorified body, they do not recognize him. And we see this cool conversation that Jesus has with a couple of guys that don't even recognize they're talking to the Lord. And what they say at the end of this conversation is, while you were talking to him, when they finally recognize Jesus, by the way, they say, while you were talking to him, did you not feel your heart burn within you? Hey, I just want to challenge you. Your job tonight at Hub, and actually every time you meet as a Hub, is to help the people that are in Hub with you feel more passionate about the Lord, passionate about serving him, and help them, come on, feel the burn. Man, every time I get together with people as a pastor, my goal is that they would leave my presence feeling the burn, feeling like they love Jesus a little bit more, feeling like they love people a little bit more, feeling a little more grateful, feeling a little more connected to the church, feeling a little bit more connected to God. That's really our goal tonight. And Pastor Joel put it so clear. He had 3 points that helped remind us like what Jesus did to help grow that passion, help people feel the burn, and it's something that we can also do to grow that connection to God and that passion for God and other people. So I have 3 questions tonight tied to those 3 points, okay? The 3 points were, they were reminded of God's power, that they were reminded of God's presence, and they retold with passion. Man, I love those 3 things. Listen, if you're ever wanting to feel the burn, if you're ever wanting to grow in your passion for God, just be reminded of his power, be reminded of his presence, and tell people about how good God is with passion. So the 3 questions for tonight. Number 1, I want you to share a testimony tonight of a time that you experienced God's power in your life. Listen, maybe it's a time where even before you were saved, God prevented something from happening in your life that you know that he was there, he was helping you. I know tons of people who said, I was in a car with somebody who was drunk, and I can't believe that we survived. I can't believe that we made it. Or I there was this place that I was just at the right time, and God introduced me to somebody that helped me in my walk with God, or whatever it is, whatever your testimony is. Why don't you share a moment where you saw God's power in your life? Okay, number 2, this is similar, but it's way different, and I think the distinction is important. I want you to share a moment where you experienced God's presence in your life. Why don't you encourage your group with a moment where you're like, I was in worship and I felt God's presence in a special way, or I was in prayer and I felt God's presence in a special way, or I was reading my Bible, I felt God's presence in a special way, or I was in a conversation and I felt God's presence in a special way. Encourage the group. You'd be amazed at what seems like a small story to you encourages the group in a big way and helps them feel the burn, okay? And point number 3, who are some people in your life that we can be praying for and that you are actively inviting to church? Listen, there's nothing that will make you feel the burn like seeing someone come to Christ, okay? We can probably count on less than one hand how many services we've had at Vivid Church where someone didn't come to Christ, give their life to Christ. In this church, we're a church that has a grace to see people come to Jesus. So you can be a part of that. And when you're a part of that, you're going to feel the burn. So why don't tonight you brainstorm some people with your hub that you can be praying for. And guess what? We got a church every single Sunday night. So you can actively be inviting people to church. Hey, if you lead them to Christ before church, awesome. But if you're a little nervous to do that, or you don't know how to do that, just bring them to church and we'll help you. And they're going to come to Jesus in church, and we're believing for that and praying for that. So let's do those 3 things. Let's talk about a moment where we experience God's power. Let's talk about a moment where we experience God's presence, and let's pray for some people who need Jesus that we're going to be actively inviting to church. Love you so much. Let's feel the burn. Have a great hub.